cloudy and overcast, but nice nonetheless, as we bring you Game 3 in this 4-game series featuring the Tampa Bay Rays and the Detroit Tigers. And as we charge towards September, this is what the standings look like in the American League Central Division. The Tigers a 4.5-game lead on second place Minnesota now, and Chicago in third place, 5 games back. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Ron Allen, glad to have you with us as we bring you Game 3 in the series. Each team with a victory so far in this series. Plenty of good pitching already in this set, Rod. And get ready for more today. 2 of the top prospects for their organizations will be going. Justin Verlander, a little bit more established. Jeff Neiman will go for Tampa Bay.
You know, for the better part of 5 or 6 years there, you had both of these teams that were finishing in the ladder as far as their divisions were concerned, which meant they could stockpile some pitching. They have done that in Tampa. Of course, the Tigers have done a lot of that. You take a look at the 2004 amateur draft. Both starters came out that year in the top 4 picks. You see how many games Verlander has pitched, already 60 in the major leagues. And now you get a look at this youngster Neiman. They had a chance to take their time with Jeff Neiman, but once he has gotten here, he's been one of the best rookies in the American League. He has a ton of wins. He's got an overpowering fastball that he'll elevate in the mid-90s. They tell us that his signature pitch is that spike curveball that he'll throw. And now with Kazmir being gone to the Angels, here's a guy that went from being their number 5 starter and fighting for that spot in spring training to being the best one on their staff this year.
Yeah, Neiman's kind of come out of nowhere now and gotten his name in the Rookie of the Year conversation. Both of these organizations are jam-packed with very good pitching prospects, and obviously we'll see a couple of them here today in Game 3 of the series. Tigers trying to go up 2-1 in this series after losing yesterday. And we're glad to have you with us. Another home game. That means the Tigers hopefully will be sending them home happy. 41-21 at Comerica Park this year. Tigers Rays next. And Justin Verlander taking the hill today for the Tigers in search of his 15th victory of the season. Verlander will take on the Tampa Bay Rays here this afternoon. Tigers and Rays in Game 3 of the series. Starting lineup for Tampa Bay is presented by the Romani Eye Institute. Jason Bartlett leads it off. He'll play shortstop. Carl Crawford is in left field and batting second. Ben Zobrist, what a year he's had. He's in right field. Carlos Pena is at first base. followed by Pat Burrell, Evan Longoria, and their bottom three is Greg Zahn, Akinori Iwamura, and B.J. Upton. Here is the Dodge scouting report on Tigers right-hander Justin Verlander.
And Verlander admitted that he learned a little bit of a lesson 5 days ago out in Los Angeles where he took a 10-0 lead in the bottom half of the sixth and gave up 4 runs. He said, I should have thrown in between innings because our team scored a lot of runs, and I also have to pitch like it's still a close game, not a 10-0 lead. So a couple of lessons learned by the very talented right-hander the last time he towed the rubber for the Tigers.
Well, as a reminder here this afternoon, if Detroit combines for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow. Get a free regular roast beef sandwich. You can find a copy of the box score in your local newspaper or at foxsports.com in the Major League Baseball section.
Might be tough to eat some of them Arby's today. We've got a couple real good right-handers on the mound.
I don't like your chances either, but let's give it a shot. Verlander ready to go, and the first pitch of the ballgame is a strike.
Spend your own lunch money tomorrow.
Jason Bartlett leads it off. 61 degrees here at game time. A little bit cooler here this afternoon, but that's okay. Great baseball weather nonetheless.
Verlander, the last time he pitched, was sensational. The first 50 pitches, 40 were strikes. You're talking about a guy that was pounding the strike zone with good fastballs. That was Verlander in Anaheim.
And he has come out 0-2 against Bartlett here this afternoon. Here's the 0-2 pitch. It's rolled foul. Well, go figure. You've got 2 of the top hitters in the American League, 2 of the top 5 hitters in Bartlett and Miguel Cabrera, and they are a combined 0 for 15.
That's what good pitching will do, and there's been plenty of good pitching in this series already.
Ooh, he hit him. Didn't want to do that. Bartlett is hit with a breaking ball with 2 strikes in the count.
Batting second, the left fielder, number 13, Carl Palmer.
So the leadoff man is on. Bartlett hit by the pitch. He has 24 stolen bases this year, definite threat.
Which means all of a sudden here in the very first inning, Laird has got to get ready to throw. But Verlander gives Laird plenty of time to throw.
Carl Crawford batting in the 2 slot. Crawford having a fine season overall this year, batting over 300, 313. He's hit 12 homers, knocked in 60. And there goes the runner right away. Big jump. Laird's throw down to second is in time. Gerald Laird does it again as he nails Jason Bartlett.
G-Money has been unbelievable this year. I know the Angels stole 5 bases the other day, but he didn't have time to throw. Bartlett was thrown out yesterday by Laird, and he challenged him again on the very first pitch thrown by Verlander, and Laird gets him again. What footwork by Laird.
Yeah, what a pick-me-up. Even on Exmo, he's out.
Lincoln Mercury Exmo.
Nicely done by Laird. So the Rays, they love to run, but not so far today. Crawford waiting on a 2-0, looks at a strike.
What a nice luxury to have if you're Jim Leyland, to have that guy behind the plate that can shut down when he gets time to throw the best running game in all of baseball.
3-1.
That's one of the reasons why the youngster Avila is probably not catching today, because I don't think Jim wanted to run the risk of them running crazy against the youngster. No disrespect to Alex, but he does not throw like Laird.
Driven deep toward left field. Carlos Guillen will go to the warning track, and there are 2 gone.
Let's take a look at the rest of the Tigers defense presented by your Chrysler and Jeep Superstore. You know who's out in left. That would be Guillen. You got Granderson. You got Thomas in there today. Inge, Santiago, Polanco, Cabrera, with just 3 errors in his last 52 games, really getting accustomed to that position he learned last year. And you know the battery by now.
Well, Santiago getting the start at the shortstop position here today. Of course, Jim Leyland has done a fabulous job of alternating both Everett and Santiago. And Ramon's had a pretty good offensive year as well. 1 ball and no strikes on Ben Zobrist, who fouls it off.
Jim likes to get those young legs out there as well on day games. Santiago's at short. You get Thomas in right.
A couple of day games here. 1 today, 1 tomorrow.
Just 95 miles an hour right off the chin.
Zobrist is an interesting player. He has played 6 different positions and is without question having a career year. Out in front of the off-speed pitch that time. And this guy has 23 home runs this season.
He was an all-star.
For the first time in his career. Solid .288 batting average. Here's the 1-2 pitch. He pulls that one into right field at 97. Letter high as well.
Well, it's no secret if you're the Tampa Bay Rays, you had a chance to watch how Verlander has approached the opponents the last 4 or 5 starts, and what he has done a lot of when he gets ahead with 2 strikes, he will climb the ladder with an overpowering fastball. He gets a lot of swings and misses on that particular pitch, but Zobrist was up for the challenge.
Well, one thing to keep an eye on today as Carlos Pena steps in. You've got a matchup here of the best strikeout pitcher in the American League against a team that strikes out a ton. The Rays have fanned over 1,000 times this year. And that is second in the American League. Only the White Sox have struck out more. So big strikeout pitcher and a team that will swing and miss a lot.
Well, Verlander needs to throw the fastballs above the belt buckle to Pena. Pena likes the ball down but has a difficult time of catching up to the heater above the belt buckle. They play him to pull on the infield.
Pena takes ball 1. 37 home runs for Carlos Pena, and that makes it 3 consecutive seasons now in a Rays uniform that he's gone 30 or better. And Pena leads the league in strikeouts with 153, but he also leads the league in walks. Wave and a miss.
I guess if you're the general manager and you have one of those 3 guys on your club, you know 2 things. And what you said, they're going to strike out a bunch, but they're also going to hit you a lot of home runs because all 3 have tremendous power. Brandon and Cuss being the other 2.
And of course, you've got some pretty good defense at first base with Pena. He brings his glove with him every day, too. Fouled back. Had a healthy swing, 1-2. And the former Tiger.
If you're Verlander, because you have 3 swing and miss pitches, you can go a variety of different ways. You can go breaking ball off the plate outside or change up, but you may as well go above the belt buckle with that 97-mile-per-hour heater. Pena can't catch up to that pitch. They're going curveball, though.
And it's lifted in the air toward left. Easy play for Guillen. And that is that for the Rays. No runs, a hit batter, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the first. base. Guillen is hitting third today. Cabrera is cleaning up. Aubrey Huff in the lineup, the DH, followed by Brandon Inge at third. Your bottom three features Thomas, Laird, and Santiago. Bernstein Advantage brings you the scouting report on Jeff Neiman. Get the Bernstein Advantage. We go to bat for you.
Well, we told you at the beginning of the show that he and Verlander both were drafted in the 2004 draft, and they were two of the top 4 picks. But Neiman, this is the first time he's been in the rotation for Tampa, and he's been their best pitcher. Comes in 12-5 with a respectable earned run average, and they say that he's got a really good curveball, which is his out pitch.
And here is Granderson to lead it off. First pitch from Neiman is outside. Curtis followed by Polanco and then Carlos Guillen.
This much we do know. He's a big fella.
Well, the big fellow stands in at 6'9", 260, and of course it's no surprise that he's from Houston, Texas, because they grow him bigger in Texas.
Well, if you're the Tigers, you may as well see if he could handle a bunt here today. He's a big boy. Usually big guys like this don't move all that well.
Hammered in the air, deep to right, but it's going to stay in the park, and Zobrist will come over to make the play. One gone.
Let's take a look at the rest of the Tampa Bay Rays defense presented by Honda Bloomfield. You've got a lot of speed in the outfield with Crawford, and also Upton. You got Zobrist. He's been everything to Joe Madden's ball club this year. Longoria, Bartlett, Iwamura back off the disabled list at second, and Pena the Gold Glover at first. And the veteran catcher, Greg Zahn, behind the plate.
Joe Madden, in his 4th season at the helm of the Rays, brought him to the World Series last year. Placido Polanco looks at a strike.
Talked to Joe this morning. He said one thing about his club this year: their situational hitting has not been good at all.
Isn't it amazing how that can change from year to year? And they won the American League East last year. As Polanco pops it up, the second baseman Iwamura for the out. This is as we look at the numbers on Neiman, this is a Tampa team that finished dead last 10 consecutive seasons, and all of a sudden they went from last to first and into the World Series last year.
They pitched and they played defense and they got some timely hits. Obviously they're not doing as well in any of those categories as they did a season ago, but they're not really that far off. And for them, the one thing they weren't able to do, and they weren't able to go out and sign a CC Sabathia and A.J. Burnett or Chichera. That's really the difference in the division.
Yeah, and the other guys could. Carlos Guillen hitting in the 3 slot today, takes the ball outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. 0 for 3 for Carlos in the series, batting .240. Neiman's 1-1 pitch. Make it 1-2. Well, we saw the big pitching prospect David Price yesterday. Here's another prospect in Neiman. And I guess when you have a couple of guys like that, trading Scott Kazmir can become a possibility at least. And they did just that. Rolled toward third base and scooped up there by Longoria. And that is that. A 9-pitch inning for Neiman to start this one. 1 in the books. No score.
Sponsored by America Bank. Cox family will get to enjoy the rest of today's game from infield box seats, courtesy of America.
249. Your Motor City Dodge dealers. Comcast, press on demand on your Comcast remote. Open up a world of choices. And by Arby's Bacon Cheddar Roast Burger Sandwich. Try it today. It'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's. Back here at Comerica Park, riding the carousel today. Now the big crowd on hand here today. A little cloudy and overcast. Temperature in the low 60s, but very pleasant nonetheless. As we head to the second, it'll be Pat Burrell, Evan Longoria, and Greg Zaun for the Tampa Bay Rays. Burrell batting .241, 12 home runs this year, which is a departure from some of the numbers he was putting up in Philadelphia over the past 8 or 9 seasons. Big home run hitter there.
Different league, going from the National League to the American League.
Wave and a miss.
And also that division that he plays in now with those other teams with all that good pitching, his numbers are going to be down.
That's the first strikeout of the ball game for the league leader, Justin Verlander.
Most right-handers this year have not been good matchups for Verlander. He holds right-handers to a .218 batting average. And he leads the American League in strikeouts. And you brought it up earlier. This Tampa team strikes out a bunch.
Here is Evan Longoria. Fouls away the first pitch. Longoria is mired in a bit of a slump. He's having another terrific year. Of course, he was the Rookie of the Year last year in the AL, but currently now 3 for his last 21. It's popped up, heading back to the seats again. 0-2. But what a good-looking big league player Longoria is. Brings his glove with him to third base every day. Outstanding defender. Has power. He's hit 24 home runs this year. Longoria last year was a unanimous choice as the Rookie of the Year.
And he didn't even make their team out of spring training last year.
Well, his numbers compared to Cabrera at the same time in their career is very comparable. And that's saying a whole lot because we're always comparing Cabrera's numbers to some of the other greats in the game.
Yes, indeed.
More home runs, more RBIs. The 1-2. Longoria out of a pretty good baseball school, Long Beach State. Batting with 1 out, nobody on here in the second. Verlander trying to put him away. 2-2. That's it to the shortstop on 1 hop. Santiago has it. And Longoria is retired. 2 gone. Bring up the veteran catcher, Greg Zaun. Zaun at 258, picked up from the Baltimore Orioles, and he's really done a nice job with Tampa, hitting .311 in a Tampa uniform since the trade. He looks at a strike, 0-1. .38 years old now. Greg Zaun still going strong in this league. In his 15th major league season. The 0-1 pitch. A little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. Zaun in the series 1 for 4. Talked about all the good pitching we've seen so far in this series. The Tigers have been the best pitching team at home in the American League this year, a 3.58 ERA. That's lifted in the air. Shallow left field. Santiago back. Still drifting. And he'll make the play. 1-2-3 inning for Verlander. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. And the Tigers here this afternoon, there's nothing like pause and Exmo.
That is Sunday morning.
Menacing look there for pause. Okay, now as we pull back, you see the jovial pause. Cabrera leads it off. Sun is doing its best to peek through the clouds. A lot of clouds in the area, no rain though. And Cabrera to be followed by Aubrey Huff, and then Brandon Inge facing the right-hander Jeff Neiman. Ball one to Cabrera, who is looking for his first hit of the series, 0 for 8. Two and 0 the count. Cabrera at 371 since the All-Star break. Had that 11-game hitting streak snapped in the opening game of the series.
He's had himself in a lot of these hitters' counts, and that's the reason why he's hit 371. Good fastball count.
And driven deep to right center field. This ball is hit well. That ball is caught on a leap by Zobrist. That is one whale of a play. He ran a long way to get it, and it looked like it was going to get to Triples Alley there.
I mean, you can argue that Zobrist has probably been their most valuable player this year, judging by all the positions he's played. He's been an all-star. He's hit for power. He's done everything that Joe Madden envisioned him doing so far this year, and that's just a really nice play. Good swing by Cabrera, 2-0, but it's good to have good defenders behind you.
Yeah, Zobrist has played 6 different positions, among them right field.
Joe Madden coming into the season, he felt like Zobrist would be a super utility player, and he has been all of that. But because Zobrist has hit so well this year, out of nowhere, he finds himself playing every day somewhere for Joe Madden.
It's kind of hard to keep him out of the lineup, isn't it?
You hit, you will play. They will find a place for you to play.
Aubrey Huff with a roller to second, and there are 2 gone.
Batting the sixth, the third baseman.
They've had some pretty good play from their right fielders in this series. Zobrist robbing Cabrera there. How about yesterday?
In the 8th inning?
Gross on Granderson. A little bit higher, and that thing is out. Brandon Inge, the batter, with 2 outs. Two and 0 on Brandon. 3 for 7 in the series, but just 184 since the All-Star break. Neiman has fallen behind a couple of hitters in this inning, and Brandon slaps a 2-0 pitch foul. The 2-1. Now 3 balls and 1 strike on Brandon Inge. 25 home runs now for the Tigers' third baseman.
If Neiman continues to pitch in these types of counts to guys that have power like Cabrera and Inge, one of them's going to get him.
High fly ball into left field toward the line. And in the corner, it is caught by Carl Crawford. Tigers again go 1-2-3. This time only a 10-pitch hitting for Neiman. recent road trip, and you may have seen they had a little bit of a verbal disagreement that happened in the dugout between innings. And as pitching coach Rick Knapp says, in the heat of the battle, these things will certainly happen.
Competitiveness comes out, in the open. They wrangle a little, verbal barb, we move on. And Gerald learned something about Justin, but more importantly, Justin learned something about himself, from my perspective. Now, it didn't, it was a verbal confrontation, but it was just a quick, brief, then it's over.
Unfortunately, we had to see that usually when there are disagreements, the players, or whether it be a coach or a manager, they usually take that stuff underneath where the cameras don't find them, because you can't hide from the cameras these days.
Iwamura leading it off here in the third.
I think that was more frustration than anything. Verlander had a 10-0 lead, and he went out there for the bottom half of the sixth inning and appeared to be experimenting a little bit with more change-ups and more breaking balls. And the next thing you know, the Angels put 4 runs on the board. But these types of things happen every single year, at least once in every clubhouse.
Here's the 1-1. Bounce to first base. Cabrera flags it down. Nicely done. Verlander will cover.
The one thing that I've been impressed with, Mario, since Jim Leland has taken over this Tigers team, we have not heard one peep out of that clubhouse about disagreements between players, coaches, managers. It goes on, but Jim does not allow any of that stuff to get out of his clubhouse.
Yeah, he's done a very good job in that respect, and you're right. I mean, it goes on every single year with every single team. It's impossible not to have agreements or disagreements.
25 personalities from different parts of the country. There's going to be some of that, but they've got a good clubhouse. They do not let it out.
Upton hammers this one deep into center field. That ball is way back, and that ball is off the wall. Upton is on his way to second, and he will pull in with a 1-out, 2-base hit.
Speaking of letting it out, Upton lets it out all here in the second inning. Third inning, he absolutely crushed this first pitch fastball. And they're swinging early against Verlander. And look at Granderson play this ball off the wall. He couldn't play it any better. I thought that was triple all day, every day for Upton, but a perfect carom played by Granderson keeps Upton at second.
Scoring chance for the Rays here in the third. That is their second hit of this ball game. Top of the order, Jason Bartlett, who was hit by a pitch to start the game and then later was thrown out trying to steal a base. Chance to drive in a run. Bartlett has knocked in 58 this year. And this is the guy they want up with men in scoring position. 404 this season. Breaking ball from Verlander, missing 1-0. Even Bartlett's home run numbers have been up this year. His 11 homers represents a career high.
Bartlett quietly has been one of the best shortstops in all of baseball, at least in the American League. On both sides of the ball. Defensively, he's very good. And offensively, he's having a career year in several offensive categories.
Well, Derek Jeter was the starting shortstop this year for the American League in the All-Star game, but the players voted Bartlett in, and he was actually voted also last year in their World Series season, their MVP, their team MVP in the regular season.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. This is where Verlander's kind of changed the last couple of starts. He's really slowed down his pace with runners in scoring position. And we're so accustomed to Verlander just grabbing that ball and throwing it, but he's not doing that anymore. I talked to Laird about that before the game, and he said they're kind of doing it by design. He said every now and then Verlander will have that one bad inning where the game kind of gets away from him and he gives up several runs. So what Laird is doing is he's simply giving his signs a little bit slower, which in turn slows Verlander down.
I never thought of it that way. I guess if the catcher is controlling the tempo, the pitcher really has no choice.
No choice whatsoever. And Verlander's kind of bought into it. I mean, he likes the slower pace. But every now and then he'll revert back to the Verlander of old because he's done it for so long, working so quickly.
3-1 on Bartlett. Fouled away. Fill it now. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
That really says it all about Verlander. 3 balls and 1 strike. Fastball right down the middle at 97. To the best RBI clutch hitter in the league this year in Bartlett. He's not afraid.
Carl Crawford waiting on deck. Upton off the bag at second base. Outstanding speed. Anything in the outfield will have a pretty good chance to score a run. 3-2 pitch. And he lost him. Ball 4. So Bartlett is aboard for the second time in the game, and Verlander has picked up his first walk. One of the things the Rays have really struggled with is their men in scoring position. Last 3 games, just 2 for 26.
That's exactly what Joe Madden was saying before the game. They have struggled in that category.
Tampa came in behind New York and Boston. In the East, it's a lost cause for winning the division, but the wild card is certainly in their sights. Tampa just 4.5 back in the wild card behind Boston and Texas. That Texas team continues to impress. They're getting some really good pitching.
That's been the difference. They've got a good defense, and they pitch.
Wave and a miss. 0-2 on Carl Crawford. Crawford missed a couple of games before this series started with a tight back. And this ballpark is kind of made for Carl Crawford. Big triples ballpark, and Carl has 90 career triples, which is 3rd among active players. Only Johnny Damon and Jimmy Rollins have more. As Verlander misses high.
It's a good pitch by Verlander. And he swung at the one before that at that same location. So why not try it again? But that's what Verlander's been doing a lot of. Mid-90s fastballs right down the middle above the belt buckle. He's been getting lots of swings and misses on that pitch.
Ground ball hit towards short. Santiago on the backhand will get 1 at second base. That's all. Crawford aboard on the fielder's choice.
Hey fans, buy a Comerica Park party suite for select games in September and receive a $300 food credit, plus a free suite for another game. For more information, call 313-471-BALL or log on to tigers.com for the suite life.
Fans hanging out in the suites today. Great spot to watch the ball game. Any spot really in this ballpark is outstanding. Great sight lines here and another big crowd for a day game here in the Motor City. Here's Ben Zobrist with 2 outs. There goes Crawford. No throw, nobody covering. And Laird held on to it. An uncontested stolen base for Crawford, is 55th of the year, which now ties him with Jacoby Ellsbury for 1st in the American League.
And Tigers defensively knew that there was a chance that Crawford would steal, but you saw the defenders up the middle in Polanco and Santiago. They stayed put. They did not move at all.
Zobrist had a base hit back in the 1st inning.
As good as Zobrist has been this year, he has not been good in these situations. RBI situations with 2 outs. His batting average is under 200.
Zobrist and Aubrey Huff are intertwined. Zobrist was acquired from the Houston Astros a couple of years back, and Aubrey Huff went the other way. He went to Houston. Both in this game today. Aubrey playing for the Tigers these days, and Zobrist having a career year for Tampa. Two and one on Ben Zobrist. Verlander trying to pitch out of a bit of a mess here in the 3rd. And there's a strike, 2-2.
What a great pitch. And you know Zobrist is looking for the fastball. He's gotten himself in a good fastball count. But this is what Verlander can do in those counts. He can drop that curveball in there for a strike, or the changeup, or throw the fastball by you. And by the way, he's added a slider too.
Run it full now at 3-2.
That was Verlander's slider at 89 miles an hour. And he's still just trying to find his pitch. And he'll throw about 2 or 3 real good ones during the course of the game. This is not a bad one. The location is good, but that velocity right around 88, 89 miles an hour, that's Verlander's new pitch.
Well, and you mentioned he's still trying to find it, yet he is not afraid at least to throw it in games. A lot of times guys will be really worried about throwing that third or fourth pitch when they know that they have excellent stuff, at least Verlander does, with the fastball and the breaking ball.
And you got runners in scoring position out there.
Well, he's gone 3-2. And he got him, strike 3. Zobrist punched out of there.
98 miles an hour.
Second strikeout for Verlander. That one came in a key spot. The kids are having fun here today. Nice crowd as the sun again tries to peek through the clouds on a great day for baseball so far, as we expected. No score. We head to the bottom of the third. The Tigers have Cleet Thomas up there to lead things off. And so far for Neiman, 6 up, 6 down for the Tampa right-hander. Cleet batting .240 with 7 home runs. He's knocked in 35. Run it to 0-2 on Thomas.
Majority of the pitches that Neiman has thrown through the first 2 innings have been fastballs anywhere from 89 to 93 miles an hour. And there's that spike curveball that he throws. It's a good pitch for him. It's kind of a 12-6 break on the breaking ball that he features. Also has a changeup. Having an outstanding year. 12 wins.
In the Rookie of the Year conversation, no question. Now the 0-2 pitch. Thomas checked it. Didn't go.
I mean, what does that say about our guy, Verlander? Because they were drafted the same year. They both came out of college. They both #1 picks. Verlander's been in the rotation since 06, and this is the first time Neiman has gotten in their rotation.
And Neiman came out of a really good college program at Rice. I don't know. It obviously said our guy was ready a lot quicker. There's a broken bat single. And that he is supremely talented.
I mean, Verlander already has 60 wins in the big leagues. And Neiman, just 29 games under his belt.
Yeah, it's amazing. Matthew Bush was the #1 pick overall that year by San Diego. He is out of baseball. Not out of walks, but out of baseball. He was released by Toronto. Here's Gerald Laird. Sometimes I guess we expect these guys to get to the big leagues, even the college guys, as quickly as guys like Verlander have done, even Porcello out of high school. And sometimes, you've got to kind of step back a little bit and think you can still be a quality big league pitcher, even if it takes a little bit longer.
Correct.
And it has with Neiman.
Tigers can run on Neiman.
And there they go. And a slow roller hit to third. Longoria will get Laird to advance the runner.
There were some pretty good players in the 04 draft. Of course, we talked about Verlander and Neiman, but you look down, Weaver, we just saw him. Sweet swinging Billy Butler. And how about the year that Houston Street's having out in Colorado this year?
Nice. He was a 40th, number 40 selection, was a first round. It was a supplemental pick at the end of the first round. That's why Street is at 40, but still a first round selection. Santiago steps in.
Yeah, that winter, I think Oakland lost Miguel Tejada. He signed a free agent deal to go to Baltimore.
Correct. The impressive thing as well about that 04 draft, and the impressive thing about Neiman and Rice, they had 3 first-round picks from Rice that year, all in the top 8. They all pitched on the staff. It was Neiman, it was Wade Townsend. He was one of the others.
It's a good program. One of your powerhouses in college baseball these days.
You saw Phil Humber. He was on that list as well. The 1-1. When we played Houston this year, I had a chance to tour their facility at Rice. I'd never been to the campus before. And one of the impressive things is the plaque that they have right in front of the stadium there, which lists all the guys that have come through that program that have played in the big leagues or professional baseball. Very impressive, long list of guys.
Lance Berkman went to that school. Also, the Cruz brothers went to Rice. As I said earlier, Neiman's going to pitch himself into trouble. And he continues to fall behind Tigers hitters. Santiago just had a really good cut of the 2-1 fastball.
The 2-2 is outside and high. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I was watching the Tigers live pregame show today, and when John Keating was doing the lineup,
he
said that
John Keating?
Santiago's got really good numbers in the daylight.
Really?
Above 300. You can learn something from that pregame show.
Well, the sun is peeking through, so it's much lighter right now. 3-2 pitch. Fouled away.
Which means Santiago's going to get himself a base hit.
John Keating said so.
346 in the daylight is Santiago.
It's pretty good. And he gets to wear those flashy sunglasses during the day, too. Again, the 3-2. Fouled off.
I always joke with Santiago this time of year because last year I believe he had a home run. It was real late. And I dropped a salary drive on him. And he said he listened to that, and he had a lot of fun with that. And what salary drive is this time of year, and the players kind of joke in the clubhouse and in the dugout. When guys are having good days, they're kind of doing well trying to pad that bank account for the next year.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, salary drive.
The daylight got him this time, though. Down he goes on strikes. That's Neiman's first strikeout. By the way, this game is available in crystal clear high definition today on Fox Sports Detroit HD. It is sponsored by Comcast. We'll take a 2-out hit now from Curtis Granderson. Grandy hit one hard to right field his first time up. Zobrist ran it down. In for a strike and the breaking ball 0-1.
It's a good choice there by Neiman, and also the veteran catcher Zahn, knowing that Granderson looking for that first pitch fastball because Neiman has thrown so many. But with that runner in scoring position, they dropped that slow breaking ball on Curtis. Was it Garza the other day that threw Granderson a bunch of slow curveballs as well?
Little looper into left, going to drop, base hit. Here comes the runner, Crawford up with the ball. Here comes the throw, and it's cut off. Throw back to first, and they got him. Granderson is out at first base trying to get back into the bag, but it's an RBI single for Curtis, and the Tigers take a 1-0 lead.
Your Tigers through the September pennant race by picking up any of the latest Titans caps at the retail store.
Gene Lamont, you already know that Crawford in left does not throw all that well, so you run in his face, and then the ball gets picked by the third baseman there, Longoria, and Granderson rounds the bag too aggressively and could not get back. He said, I was in there.
Yeah, that run counts.
That's why you got to hustle through the plate, because if he doesn't get there, he slows down and Granderson gets thrown out before he touches home plate. No runs scored.
Carlos Pena leading it off here in the fourth inning, and he'll step out. You know, that play also is a great example, Rod, of the third base coach, Gene Lamont, knowing the arms in the outfield. On a ball hit to left field, he was waving him home all the way.
Yes, he was.
Here's a bunt by Pena that goes foul. Third base coaches have to just process so much in a short amount of time.
Crawford does a lot of things well. Impact player, can run balls down, but throwing is not one of his strong suits. And Gene Lamont is one of the best third basemen in the game, and he's done a lot of it over the years. He has coached a lot of third base.
0-1 on Carlos Pena, who flied out back in the first inning out to left field.
Well, Pena trying to bunt that first pitch for a base hit down the third baseline.
Inch way off the line and way back. 0-2. He's not bunting here.
Usually power pitchers are able to handle power hitters. And power hitters are always taking that real big swing.
That's popped up. Who wants it? Inge. Whoa. That became a little bit tricky. One gone, and it is Aflac time. Let's see what the Duck has in store for us today. The question is, who was the only Tampa player to finish in the American League's top 10 in batting average? They've had only one in their, I think, 11 years of existence now. This would be their 12th year.
Really? Just one guy?
Just one in the top 10. I guessed earlier today, and it was wrong. Then again, that surprised nobody. We'll have the answer in the bottom of the fourth inning. Pat Burrell is the batter with one out.
Yeah, Verlander carved him up pretty good that first time up.
2-0 on Burrell. Burrell struck out in the second. One of 2 strikeouts that Verlander has. The other was a big one because they had some guys on the bases back in the third, and Zobrist was caught looking. 3-1. Burrell has a very quiet approach at home plate. Not a whole lot of moving parts. Sizing up the pitcher. Big home run hitter, as we mentioned, in Philadelphia. He was good for 30 a year just about every season there, it seemed. Inside, he lost him, and there's another walk for Verlander. It's his second walk to go with a hit batter and 2 strikeouts. That'll bring up Evan Longoria. Longoria grounded out his first time up.
Longoria has grounded into a whopping 24 double plays this year.
Whoa.
24.
That's got to be among the highest in the league.
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how. I mean, he's pretty athletic. He doesn't run all that bad.
That's not going to be a ground ball. That thing is hit well out to left field. It's going to leave the ballpark. And just like that, Tampa has the lead.
Scorched.
Longoria with a line drive home run, is 25th of the season. 2-1 Rays.
And 1-0 count, and apparently Longoria sitting on that piece of cheese. It was out, it was away from him, and he was able to extend his arms and get through the baseball, and that thing got out of here in a hurry. That sound was loud, and it took very little time in that ball getting out of the ballpark.
Zahn swings through a changeup, 0-1.
He is one of the best players in the game of baseball, one of the best young players in the game.
I'm not sure you can figure out what his ceiling is either. I mean, he's done so much his first 2 years in the big leagues. And had he not missed 30 games last year, who knows how many home runs he would have ended up with. Wave and a miss, and Zahn is carved up.
Here's that sound off of Evans' bat.
Sounds like a gunshot. Drilled one out to left field. Got out quickly. It was one of those home runs where the outfielder just kind of turns around. Knew it was gone. That ball is hit well. Way back into left field. Guillen to the wall, and that one is gone. Iwamura has just hit his first home run of the season the other way.
How do you take a mid-90s fastball and hit it against the traffic? As far as Iwamura hit that fastball by Verlander, Verlander's probably going to have to start mixing in a few more off-speed pitches and changeups early in counts because they're swinging early and they're swinging often. But take a look at this pitch right here. In the low 90s, it's got some movement to it. It's down. Somehow he's able to take this ball and clobber it the other way.
Pretty impressive. First of the year for Iwamura, who spent a lot of time on the disabled list with a bad knee. And he has now given Tampa a 3-1 lead. Justin Upton hit a ball deep back in the third for a double to left center field. 3 runs on 4 hits for the Rays. They have claimed their first lead of the game here in the fourth. On the ground to the shortstop, Santiago will make the play. And that's all for the Rays. Couple of home runs has given Tampa a 3-1 lead. taking the lead 3-1. And between innings, Gerald Laird and Justin Verlander had a little conversation. This one a little bit more calm, though.
I think what he was asking about the pitch to Iwamura, because you see the motion here by Laird indicating the left-handed swing and where that pitch was. And it really wasn't that bad a pitch, but Iwamura just able to get to it.
So the Tigers have some work to do now as we go to the bottom of the fourth. They trail 3-1. Neiman back out to the hill. And it'll be Polanco leading it off, then Carlos Guillen and Miguel Cabrera. First pitch in there for a strike on Placido, who popped up in his first at bat. Polanco now is 0 for 9 in the series. He has cooled a little bit. And he's behind in the count 0-2. Just missed. Didn't take Neiman very long to establish himself at that Rice program. As a sophomore, he went 17-0. And by the time he left Rice after 3 years, he had 28 victories under his belt. Just missed the outside corner again, 2-2. 28-4 was his overall record at Rice. And the 2-2 pitch on the ground to the shortstop. Bartlett will throw out Polanco, one away.
The left fielder, Carlos.
Well, that Aflac trivia question. Aflac! Apparently there's a hint.
It wouldn't be Huff, would it?
The only Tampa player to finish in the American League's top 10 in batting average. It's got to be Huff now. Unless they're trying to fool us. Aflac! And it is Aubrey Huff. Back in 2003, finished 9th. With a 3.11 average. There you go. The only Ray, or at that time Devil Ray, to finish top 10 in hitting in a single season. Guillen fouls one away, 0-1.
Aubrey was putting up some good numbers for Tampa when he had no help in the lineup. There were no other players really surrounding him that were doing anything from an offensive standpoint.
Mentioned Ben Zobrist was involved in that deal with Houston. Swing and a miss by Guillen.
Zobrist was just a double-A shortstop when Tampa made the deal for him, so they really didn't know what they were getting in return. Double-A shortstop.
I remember seeing Zobrist when he was first called up by Tampa after that trade and thought he was, he's a pretty good player. He seemed like a solid shortstop. Boy, he's blossomed into a guy that can play almost anywhere. That's pulled towards Zobrist, and he'll make the play on the run. 2 gone.
The first baseman, begin.
Well, everything you knew about fantasy football is about to change. Introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football with more customizable features and new ways to play. Log on at foxsports.com on MSN. Join the next generation of fantasy football. 2 up, 2 down to the Tigers' fourth. That'll bring up Cabrera. And he broke his bat and rolled it toward third. Longoria charging. Cabrera is out. Tigers go 1, 2, 3. 4 in the books here at Comerica Park. 3-1 Tampa.
Anderson and Thomas play long toss. Here they are today before the game. You start out very short, and you just start to stretch it out until you get to a point where you're Thomas, you're still standing on that line, and if you're Granderson, you're all the way on the warning track out in right center field. There is no better way for a young player to develop arm strength than simply playing long toss, throwing the ball as far as you could possibly throw it. And if you notice, neither player was throwing it all the way on the fly. They were about one hoppers, two hoppers to one another. That's how you develop arm strength at a young age.
Verlander back to the hill as we go to the 5th inning. Well, those were two outfielders. Does that apply for really any position on the field?
Well, you usually see outfielders do it, but pitchers do it. Of course, that's how they develop arm strength. You don't see as many infielders doing it, but I see a lot of outfielders doing it. I did it as an outfielder, and you see more pitchers doing it versus position players in the infield.
Well,
I mean, that's a long throw from that foul
throw.
line down the left field line all the way to the warning track in right center field where Granderson was standing.
Ground ball foul. Well, we know it has served Clete Thomas very well. He has a terrific throwing arm in the outfield.
Granderson has gotten a whole lot better himself under the guidance of Andy Van Slyke. Andy Van Slyke said he wishes teams took more infield, in particular his team. That was the way he kept his arm very strong as a player when playing for Pittsburgh and St. Louis. And Andy had a great arm. He was a fearless thrower.
Of course, Clete Thomas underwent the elbow surgery and has been able to come back from that.
He's got a new elbow.
And it's pretty strong. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The leadoff man, Jason Bartlett, as we play here in the 5th. Verlander bouncing one in. Well, we thought this might be a big strikeout day for Verlander based on the fact he leads the league, and the Rays strike out a lot, but so far only 3. He's given up a pair of home runs. He's walked 2. And Bartlett's still alive. Jason Bartlett, 4th in the American League in hitting. He has not been a flash in the pan this year. He's been there just about all season long, up there with names like Ichiro and Mauer and Cabrera. Fouls away another. So as we've talked about oftentimes, Verlander has so many pitches fouled off against him. And Bartlett giving him fits here. Again, the 2-2. Missed it outside, and all of a sudden now the count is 3 balls, 2 strikes. This will be the 10th pitch in this at-bat. And he walked him with it. It's the 2nd time he has walked Bartlett, who is on base now for the 3rd time in the game.
Well, does Bartlett dare try to steal a base? He's tried to steal a couple already in this series, and Laird has caught him on both occasions. And you know Bartlett wants to go. That's just the player inside of you. You got me twice, but I'm still going to get you.
So you're thinking he's going here?
At some point in time, he will try to challenge Laird again.
Strike 1 on Carl Crawford.
But this is not a really good combination if you're Bartlett to try to steal. Verlander has a quick move, which means you can't get a big lead. He gets the ball to Laird quickly, which means you're not going to get a good jump. And Laird has been throwing the ball as well as any catcher in the game.
0-2 on Crawford.
At some point in time, though, I mean, I know Anaheim got him the other day for 5, which was surprising. But at some point in time, with the way that Laird is throwing the ball this year, you're simply running yourself into an out when you try to steal against him.
Well, and I know the Tigers ran out to the 10-0 lead in that first game against the Angels, but boy, those first 2 games, they really shut down a prolific running team. Back out of play again.
You brought it up. Verlander, for whatever reason, opposing hitters foul off a lot of his fastballs. Just enough to drive that pitch count up.
And it was at 69 after 4 innings. Meanwhile, Neiman has been much more economical. And a bouncing ball back up the middle. Santiago with a nice play, but he'll have no play. Try to shuttle it to second base. Infield hit for Carl Crawford.
It's a nice job by Crawford because Verlander was able to get ahead of him. No balls and 2 strikes with the fastball. And then he finally threw him a breaking ball, and he sped Crawford's bat up enough and for Crawford to get a single up the middle. And Santiago was not going to get anybody on this play.
Five Tampa hits now. They have 2 men on, nobody on. They've got 3, 4, and 5 lurking. Ben Zobrist 1 for 2.
This Tampa team does not sacrifice a whole lot. Zobrist has 1 sacrifice bunt this year.
And he's not bunting here, swing and a miss. Zobrist was up there with the bases loaded back in the 3rd. Bartlett and Crawford, the runners, check at 2nd and 3rd, not the bases loaded. And Verlander struck him out looking in that at bat, and now he's gotten ahead of him here 0-2.
The first time Zobrist was up, Verlander was also ahead of him. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and he threw him a fastball in the high 90s. And Zobrist was able to pull it between 1st and 2nd for a solid single.
Zobrist's career high in home runs prior to this year was 12. And he has bolted past that with 23 this season. Really just about every offensive category he has had his season best.
And Laird and Verlander having a difficult time of getting on the same page as to what they want to throw here. No balls and 2 strikes.
Swing and a miss. And he discards him again, this time swinging. 4 strikeouts for Justin.
The first baseman, Carlos Pena.
So again, Zobrist in a big spot, unable to come through, and now the pitch count at 86 for Verlander. Here's Pena. Boy, his numbers are something else this year. I mean, a guy that is hitting .220 coming in has 92 RBIs. It's just odd to see those 2 numbers together. There's a high fly ball left field. Guillen going back to the warning track. Runners will tag, and both advance. 2 gone, 2nd and 3rd. What else is going on in the Central Division today? Yankees leading Chicago 3-2. And Texas, Minnesota just underway. How about Minnesota? Just leapfrogging Chicago into 2nd place.
They sure did.
They're still under 500.
There's a rumor coming out of Minnesota that they're trying to acquire Rich Harden.
I heard that.
From the Chicago Cubs.
Well, they're running out of time if they want to do it before the playoff roster deadline. There's strike 1 on Burrow.
They have already made several moves. They got themselves a shortstop in Cabrera. They got another starter in Pavano. They just got Ron Mejia, I believe, as well. He's in their bullpen.
The 0-1.
So Minnesota kind of sniffing that they can catch Detroit.
Oh, they believe. And why not? I mean, with what they've done in the past, decade in the Central.
Well, Tigers will play against Minnesota and Chicago the final 2 weeks of the season. Quite a bit.
Lifted in the air to right. Thomas started back. Now he'll come in to make the play. Verlander pitching out of a 5th inning jam. They strand a couple of runners. We go to the bottom of the 5th. 3. Check that out.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we were talking the last half inning about the Central Division. How about this soundbite from Ozzie Guillen? Yesterday's 10-0 loss to the Yankees. I'm embarrassed, and everybody in that room should be embarrassed. I watched Little League Baseball, and they played better than we did. In a stunning development, Ozzie speaking his mind.
They have struggled, to say the least, on this road trip that they've been on. They've won 1 game, and they've lost 5 so far in their trip through Boston and New York.
Aubrey Huff leading it off. Well, players, I think, appreciate a lot of times when the manager has their back. But as a player, what do you think the reaction is in their locker room when Ozzie says things that, well, are quite honest, actually?
Well, I don't think they have an issue with it at all. And they have said as much. And they know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they play for a guy that's going to tell them like it is. And when they're playing well, and he's going to make sure they know that. And when they're playing poorly, he wants them all to collectively look in the mirror and see if you're doing your part. He said he threw himself in there too, though,
true,
which is what good managers will do.
Yeah,
it's not just all about the players. He says, I'm embarrassed.
Aubrey Huff, Brandon Inge, Cleet Thomas here in the 5th inning. Tigers down 3-1.
I read something about a week ago or so where the general manager, Kenny Williams, he also said basically the same thing that Ozzie said yesterday. He says we're underachieving. He says all of us. We are a bunch of underachievers right now.
Now the 1-2 pitch lifted in the air toward shallow left center field. Crawford comes in. One gone. Here's Brandon Inge with 1 out. Tigers have only 2 hits off Neiman today. That was a single by Thomas and a base hit by Granderson.
We have seen some good young pitching in this series. On Friday, it was Verlander. It was Porcello and Garza. That kid Price yesterday, youngster. And you got Verlander, Neiman today.
Inge flied out his first time up. There's a towering fly ball to shallow center field. Upton for the out, 2 gone.
I didn't throw Robertson in there because he is not a youngster.
But he pitched well.
But Robertson pitched very well yesterday in his first start since last year.
You call Nate a grizzled old veteran?
Yeah, well, I guess he would fall into that category these days.
Yeah, he did really nice though. Pitched a good ball game, gave his team a chance to win. 2 outs. Here's Cleet Thomas. They had a nice little piece on Tigers Live on Cleet Thomas. You've been talking about this, the fact that he played on a whale of a summer team in Florida with some big names on that team.
Some great players.
Cleet said something I thought was really interesting. He said, you know, a lot of the guys I played with played Little League ball, but that was pretty much it. They never really kind of played summer ball and kind of gave up their summers and devoted it to the game like he did. And that was one of the big reasons he's been able to get to this level. And he hammers one to center field, a base hit. So Cleet's 2 for 2.
It's got to be a goal, and it's got to be a dream. And once it gets into your blood, and like it has for most of these guys at this level, and you can make a very nice living doing it. Not an easy thing to do, to be a big league baseball player.
He also said that staying here is harder than getting here. Getting here is hard enough, but to stay at the big league level, boy, it takes a lot of work. Gerald Laird is the batter now. The Tigers, down by 2, have their 3rd hit of the game.
And we told you that the Tigers could run on this combination today if they chose to do so. And with 2 outs, you may as well try to get yourself down in the scoring position if you're Thomas.
Gerald grounded out his first time up to the third baseman Longoria.
Andy Van Slyke, who coaches first base, has a stopwatch in his hand, and he will time opposing pitchers on occasion. And he also has Leland's blessing. And when he thinks that that base runner can steal a base, he can go ahead and give the steal sign to the base runner. I guess there's a lot of trust there.
That's popped up. Foul ground behind home plate and caught by Zahn, and that is that for Detroit. They got a 2-out hit. They leave one. Let's go to the 6th.
Team. This is our Comcast high-speed pitch today. And 50 pitches Verlander has thrown 95 miles an hour and above. And you get a look at how many he has thrown each inning. But of the 90 pitches total, 50 have been 95 miles per hour and above.
Oh, my goodness. That's a ton. That is a ton. That's popped up in the shallow center. They're going to get Longoria, one gone.
Well, that's what you have to do to Longoria. When we saw Longoria get loose his last time up, homering to left. When you play in a big, spacious ballpark like Comerica and you've got a power hitter like Longoria, you have to try to the best of your ability to make him hit that ball to straightaway center, where it's 420 out there. You've got a terrific center fielder that runs down everything.
Here's Greg Zahn. He has been 0 for 2 today. Struck out his last time up in the 4th. Verlander, 4 strikeouts. He came in averaging about 10.5 per 9 innings, which is tops among all American League pitchers. That's why he's leading the league in strikeouts.
Verlander, if he has a really nice last month of the year, has a real strong chance of winning his first Cy Young. I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite right now in our league, but there are several guys in the conversation. He would be one. Beckett would be one. Hernandez in Seattle. Of course, you got Greinke.
I was reading one national writer recently whose vote right now is for Greinke.
It would be for Greinke.
Rolled to short, and Santiago. 2 gone. How about we revisit our poll question today? Which Tiger has had the best rookie season on the mound? You can text A, B, C, or D to 37338. Is it A, Mark Fidrich, B, Dave Rozema, C, Justin Verlander, or D, Rick Porcello? Final results on Tigers Live. Myself, I would vote for Mark Fidrich.
That makes 2 of us.
Closely followed by Verlander. But Fidrich was absolutely dominating his rookie season. Swing and a miss, and a big rip by Iwamura.
Well, the Tigers would average about, 16,000 fans a game, and then on days where he would pitch, they would be all the way up in 45,000, 50,000.
It was a playoff atmosphere every time he pitched. That's into center field. Granderson coming over. And an easy 1-2-3 inning for Justin Verlander. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Tigers trying to make up a 2-run deficit.
Age 14 and under receive a backpack to school aluminum lunchbox. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com.
Back to school time already.
Yes, it is.
Some Tiger fans, the youngsters, taking their final shots at coming out and watching the Tigers before school starts. A lot of youngsters out today. Another good crowd here. Paul's working that crowd as he does every night.
And Santiago's got a lot of room in the infield as Pena at first starts to creep in a little bit. But he may as well try to bunt for a base hit. You got a real big guy on the mound at 6'9", 260, Neiman.
Ball 1 to Santiago. He'll be followed by Granderson and then Polanco.
And he's got a ton of room down third. If he placed the bunt perfectly down in this direction, there's no way that Longoria would throw him out. But you got to get it down.
And he pulls it into right field, right in a line, and right at Zobrist.
Well, it's the 6th inning, so that means it's time for Coors Light Freeze Cam. And what does Coors Light have for us today? A couple of home run balls. And not located all that poorly. That one was away from Longoria. He was able to reach out and hit it back to the pull field. That one tailing away from Iwamura, who was looking for it and was able to get his hands inside. And when you have a guy that throws as hard as Verlander does, all you have to do is touch it. Coors Light Freeze Cam, always brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Here's Curtis Granderson. Grandy has knocked in the only run for the Tigers. RBI single back in the 3rd. And he loops one toward left field right at Crawford. Well, this is our first shot at seeing Neiman this year, but he's looked pretty impressive so far. And the one thing, Rod, is he's kept his pitch count.
Very economical, not overpowering, not getting lots of strikeouts, just keeping the ball out of the middle of the plate and pitching to a lot of contact and allowing his defenders to work. He has done a very nice job.
And a lot of quick innings, only 61 pitches so far in this game. Polanco, he's gotten him a couple of times, pop up in a ground out.
Tigers need to figure out a way to get Neiman into the stretch. He is so comfortable right now out of the windup. And when you have a starter out there that is this comfortable and working exclusively out of the windup, when you get a guy in the stretch, sometimes it prevents problems for them. Tigers have not been able to do that.
The 2-0. 3 balls, no strikes on Polanco.
And we know this much. Polanco does not swing 3-0. And if he takes 3-0, he may as well take 3-1 too, to see if Neiman can thread the needle on 2 consecutive fastballs. get one of your big boys up to the plate.
Takes again. It's strike 2 called, so Neiman is equal to the task, and now it's 3-2.
Blanco's a smart player, although I think he would look like he was going to swing at this pitch. He thought it was low, but he knows it's important for him to get on base.
Bouncing ball back towards second. Iwamura. And that is that for the Tigers. Another economical inning. Only 10 pitches for Neiman to get through the 6th. Been a good pitching duel in this one. The only difference is Verlander's given up a couple of home runs in that 3-run 4th. And the Tampa Bay Rays coming to the plate here in the 7th inning. They have 5 hits. Tigers have only 3 against Jeff Neiman. B.J. Upton leading it off. The number 9 hitter for the Rays. Upton sat down yesterday, and Joe Mad was saying he wanted to give him an opportunity to sit down for a day, and thinks he's been pressing a little bit. Upton batting in the 9 hole these days. The 0-1 is rolled left side and through, and that is his 2nd hit of the game. So he's 2 for 3. Leadoff man is on here in the 7th.
Last half inning we were talking about Cleek Thomas and all the players that he's played against in Florida when he was an amateur. I believe B.J. Upton and Verlander played against one another in Virginia. They're both from the same area, and they played some ball against each other.
Well, that Chesapeake area of Virginia has produced both of the Upton brothers. Michael Kadire is from that area. There's Zimmerman, the other one, for Washington, from that area. All number 1 picks. So that's pretty impressive.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, not just guys that have gotten to the big leagues, but number 1 picks, or 1st round picks, I should say. Bartlett, the batter.
Well, Upton's got a lot of speed as well. We've talked about the fact that Bartlett, their leadoff hitter, has stolen quite a few bases. Crawford will run as well, their number 2 hitter. But Upton's not bashful himself. He's got tremendous speed. Upton also one of those guys that when he takes off, it's almost like he's running full speed. That first step is explosive, and he's off to the races. Very few guys like that in the big leagues today. Long galloping strides.
Speed at the bottom, speed at the top. We've got Upton, and they turn it over to Bartlett and Crawford.
Well, we were talking about it a couple of days ago, the fact that Joe Madden spent 20-plus years in Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim's uniform, and he worked very closely with Mike Scioscia. Scioscia plays the same kind of baseball, first to third, put a lot of pressure on you with their legs. I would say he kind of took a page out of Scioscia's book.
No question. But you do have to have the type of players that you could you could use that system with, and they do.
It seems like that's the kind of players they draft. Tom Foley, third base coach, going over some signs.
Snap throw and the runner back. Verlander has been called for a couple of balks this year with that quick move. A couple of umpires have gotten him. He's got those extremely quick feet. Fouled back out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jason Bartlett.
Laird has caught a couple attempting to steal in this series, and both times it was Bartlett. But he has thrown out 40% this year, which is tremendous.
I'll play a little bit closer.
Of course, Jim Leland handles the running game. He gives these signs to Laird. Laird kind of relays those signs to Verlander as to what they want to do. He can pitch out if he wants to. If he thinks that Upton's really going to run, he can pitch out and help Laird out a little bit.
Not going. It has popped up. Back to the seats.
It is a huge advantage if you got speed at the top of your rotation, or even at the bottom in this case in Upton, because there's a lot of attention being paid to the base runner.
Verlander today has thrown 104 pitches. Bartlett has seen 24 of them. He's had some long at bats. Runner goes and it's fouled straight back. Some patient at bats. And again, all those foul balls we mentioned. It seems like there's a ton of them against Verlander every start.
Upton was anticipating that 1-2 pitch to Bartlett was going to be a breaking ball, because Verlander had not thrown him a breaking ball in this sequence. There's the breaking ball.
Well, Verlander threw just 6 pitches in the 6th inning to kind of get his pitch count back in order a little bit. It's still a little bit high as he pitches here in the 7th. He's over 100 now.
A lot of strikes.
In the air to center field. Granderson moving back. He'll get there, and one gone. Upton tagging up, but going nowhere.
I think Granderson played that ball like he was a runner on third base getting ready to tag up, but you have to do it that way when you got speedsters on the base path that will try to challenge him. Granderson gets behind this ball as Upton gets bagged to tack up, and he fires this ball into second base with a lot of aggression. You can't do it any better than that. You don't want to get caught off guard, on your heels, so to speak.
Well, the residue of speed, it certainly pressures the defense. And now Crawford will stand in. Carl Crawford has a base hit, also has a stolen base, and another throwback.
You can't get a good jump off of Verlander, so you're really just kind of gambling, almost like when you're going up against a left-handed pitcher. You just kind of pick a pitch and you go on first movement and you hope he doesn't throw over. You're not going to get a big jump or an aggressive lead.
Upton took a couple of choppy steps toward the bag that time, bluffing a little bit. 1-0 on Crawford. Pretty good numbers against Verlander, 6 for 12.
Just kind of slapping the ball all over the ballpark.
Fouled away.
Crawford's one of those guys that doesn't have a big swing, and usually guys that have good hand-eye coordination that don't try to hit the ball out of the ballpark, their numbers are a little bit better against guys like Verlander versus your power guys like Pena.
Again, a close play. That throw was right on the bag to Cabrera. Big rip there by Crawford. 1-2. Carl Crawford is only 28 years of age, and believe it or not, he's the longest tenured Tampa player at just 28. Of course, their history does not go all that far back. And he skies this one in the air to center. Granderson. He'll get there for the out. 2 gone, and the runner has to hold. A couple of fly ball outs after the leadoff single, and here is Zobrist. Three starts ago, Verlander threw 123 pitches in that victory at Boston. 127 is his season high against Chicago. And a strike called on Zobrist.
Your change piece there to start off Zobrist. And if you can do this at this level, change-ups, breaking balls, and fastball counts, or even the lead-off hitters, you can pitch a long time. Most hitters are looking for the first pitch fastball.
Runner going. Here comes Laird's throw. It's going to bounce in. The tag. He got him.
How about Laird? I see your money.
The second time he's thrown a runner out today. Gerald Money nailed Bartlett. Gerald Laird has thrown out 2 of 3 today, getting Bartlett and then Upton. And the Rays' last 4 games with men in scoring position. How about 2 for 31? But they have the lead today, and in large part due to what Jeff Neiman's been able to do today.
Well, he has not been overpowering, but this is how he has been able to win 12 games this year. He just keeps the ball out of the middle of the plate. Everything is down or everything's elevated. He's cutting the fastball. He's running it. He's sinking it. He has not needed a whole lot of changeup today, and he has been as good as advertised, the rookie right-hander.
Not only an outstanding pitcher, but also he looks a lot like Jeff Daniels, our good buddy.
I guess there's some similarities.
I could see Jeff Neiman starring opposite of Jim Carrey in a movie. Awfully close. By the way, Jeff Daniels, always a Tiger. And Neiman now will go to work here in the bottom of the 7th inning, protecting a 2-run lead, 3-1. It's been as we expected today, pitching dominated. Neiman, one of their top prospects, some of the better numbers that you will see among rookie pitchers. He has put it together this year and having himself a fine season. By the way, our crowd here this afternoon, 36,000 plus, 36,067. And the Tigers have gone over the 2 million mark for the 5th straight year. How about that? They keep coming out. Carlos Guillen, Miguel Cabrera, and Aubrey Huff facing Neiman here in the 7th. Okay, this is the inning. I can feel it. String a couple of hits together, down by only 2. Guillen is 0 for 2. Ground ball and a line out. Neiman just has not thrown many pitches. 67. And Carlos looks at a strike, 0-1.
For many of these Tigers, it's their first look at Neiman. And Zahn behind the dish has led the rookie right-hander perfectly. And Zahn, a big leaguer for a number of years, and really knows how to call a game.
RBI single by Granderson in the 3rd, the only run that Neiman has allowed. Clay Thomas got him for a couple of hits. That's about it. And Carlos showing bunt. 2 balls, 1 strike.
I like the idea. Any way you can. If Longoria is going to play you 6-7 steps behind that bag at 3rd, and get on base.
The 2-1. Make it 2-2. Final game of the series tomorrow. This is a 4-game set which wraps around into Monday. And again, it's a day game here tomorrow. Washburn and Shields hooking up in that game. And the Indians are coming to town. There's Washburn. He'll get the start tomorrow. The 2-2. Down goes Guillen. Second strikeout for Neiman.
The first baseman, Miguel Cabrera.
Hey fans, visit the official online shop of the Detroit Tigers at Tigers.com. Browse the largest selection of authentic Tigers gear, including clubhouse caps, t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and a whole lot more. And you can get it all straight from the source at Tigers.com shop.
Here's Miguel Cabrera. Breaking ball, strike 1. The 3 Tigers hits, 2 singles by Cleat Thomas, and then the RBI hit by Curtis Granderson. Shot foul back out of play, 0-2. Cabrera hit a ball in his first at bat that I thought might go out, or at least have a chance to go off the wall. It was drilled to the gap in right center. Zobrist ran it down. And so Cabrera is still hitless in the series at 0 for 10.
That may be the hardest ball the Tigers have hit on the day.
Yeah, I think so. 1-2. 6'9", 260 out of Houston, Texas. Neiman, 26 years old. We saw Price yesterday. We see Neiman today. Saw Garza in the opener. He's been good. And Shields tomorrow. And this Rays team has some pitching. There's no doubt about that. Inside.
And apparently they know that as a fact because they traded away Edwin Jackson last offseason. They gave him to Detroit. And then they traded away Kazmir just a couple of days ago to the Angels. So they got a lot of pitching, and they've given up some really good pitching too the last 6 months.
Well, Neiman is one of 3 Rays starters with an ERA of under 3. Garza and Shields the other 2. He has fallen behind Cabrera here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. In the 7th inning. Rolled foul. 3-2.
This has turned out to be a great move for David Dombrowski, acquiring Edwin Jackson on December 11th. Matt Joyce has spent the majority of his season in Durham, AAA, for the Tampa Bay Rays.
That is popped straight up behind the plate, but it looks like it's going to sail back into the seats 3 rows deep. Just out of the reach of Zahn. 3-2 the count stays. There's Dave. His team right now in first place in the American League Central. Did a little tweaking to the roster with the additions of Huff and Washburn. Swing and a miss. Cabrera goes down on strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts in this inning. 3 for the game now for Neiman.
The designated hitter, Aubrey.
And really good fastball here by Neiman. That ball had some late life to it. Good two-seamer. And Cabrera could do nothing with.
Aubrey Huff is 0 for 2. And a bouncing ball foul down the first base line. Aubrey came over in that trade with Baltimore for a minor league pitcher, hoping to add some stability from the left side in terms of what the Tigers' offense or lineup would look like. But it's been a slow go for Huff since coming over to the Tigers.
Aubrey was playing every day in Baltimore, and he's still adjusting to playing against just right-handers. He does not start against left-handed pitching, although there are a lot of days he will come in as a pinch hitter. I was talking to him about that before the game today, and he was not making any excuses whatsoever. He just feels like he's got to get a little bit more comfortable and get more strikes to hit and get himself in better hitting count. He's not in a good hitter's count now. 1 ball and 2 strikes, but he was not making that excuse for himself that he is not playing every day. So it's good to hear.
Well, he's behind here, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now make it 2-2 on Huff. Trying to keep it going for Brandon Inge. All the Tigers need is 1 base runner here to bring the tying run to the plate. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fouled away. Six in a row retired by Neiman after giving up a single to Clete Thomas in the 5th. That's driven to the gap in right center field. Hit well. That ball will go to the wall. Huff on his way to second base, and he will pull in with a double. 2-out, 2-base hit for Aubrey Huff. Tigers needed that. Now they bring the tying run to the plate.
Neiman was able to get ahead of Aubrey Huff, but then Aubrey Huff had seen quite a few different pitches. He fouled off a couple, finally got a fastball down in front, and he caught it out in front, and Upton in center field could not run it down. He crushed that double.
It's a 2-base hit for Aubrey Huff. And now the Tigers will bring Brandon Inge to the plate. Inge is 0 for 2 with a couple of fly balls. And Neiman having confab on the hill with his teammates. Joe Madden not quite as comfortable as he was a moment ago. It's the first Tiger in scoring position since the 3rd inning in this game. Here is Inge. Ball 1. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Brandon 3 for 9 in the series.
And it looked like Brandon was trying to tie it up with that 1-0 swing, but I guess you can do that when you get yourself in that type of count, at least for one swing.
Inge had a couple of hits in the first game of the series, including a home run. And that was his 25th of the year, which leaves him a couple shy of his career high. Huff has doubled with 2 outs. And the 2-1. 3 balls, 1 strike. Even has not had too much stress in this one, to say the least. That hit that he just gave up, the double, was the first extra base hit that he's allowed. Three and 1 on Brandon. And did he go? Yes, he went around. Inge was headed to first base, but is called back. 3-2. The same pitch that got Cabrera, only that one was a little farther inside. Inge could not hold up, and now home plate umpire Mike Everett is out to the mound to break up the second confab that they've just had.
And this much I do know, that pitch he struck Cabrera out with, along with that pitch right there to Inge, is one of the major reasons why he's having the year he's having, and he's handcuffed the Tigers today. That 2-seam fastball's got a lot of late movement on it.
Hit the other way right at the first baseman Pena. And that'll end the inning. So the Tigers get a double. Strand of man. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. American League Central Division, New York is still leading Chicago. They're in the 7th, 3-2. And Texas has an early run in Minnesota. Millwood and Baker in that one. Verlander, meanwhile, back to the hill, facing Ben Zobrist. And then Carlos Pena and Pat Burrell in the 8th. 3-6-0 for the Rays, 1-4-0 for the Tigers.
Verlander still real strong, even though he's thrown 115 pitches in this game. And that fastball still in the mid-90s. But that's nothing new for JV. Tigers caught a little bit of a break yesterday in losing. The White Sox also lost, and Texas took care of Minnesota.
A pretty good chance that Verlander is going to throw more pitches than any other start before this one is over. We mentioned that his high was 127. And there's nobody warming up right now in the Tigers bullpen. Average is almost 110 per start. 1-2 on Zobrist. He has fanned him a couple of times today. 1 for 3. Here's the 1-2. That's popped up. Shallow left field. And Guillen is there. So he's 1 for 4. Zobrist is out.
Verlander has stayed with his game plan against Zobrist. And Zobrist took a 97-mile-per-hour fastball his first time up and singled sharply to the pull field, but Verlander has continued to pump Zobrist's fastballs.
There's Carlos Pena.
And that's pretty much the same thing you have to do with Pena. Make sure you get the ball above the belt buckle and just a hair inside.
Want to know on Pena. They play him to pull on the infield. And there's a strike in the outer edge, 1-1. We're just talking about the White Sox. They're trying to get Jake Peavy into their rotation. He was coming back from that ankle problem. Then he was hit in the minor leagues by a line drive off his elbow. And he pitched last night, but had to be taken out in the 4th inning because of some tenderness in that elbow. There's another ball hit in the air. Shallow left field. Inge going back out there. Guillen, though, is going to call him off. 2 gone.
Yeah, they were hoping that Peavy would give them some nice starts down the stretch. And were the White Sox. But a little bit of bad luck by him getting hit on that right elbow. He was supposed to get the ball in this series they're playing right now in New York.
New York, yeah. Here's Pearl. Well, Peavy is really good. I mean, we all know that, but it remains to be seen how he can make the adjustment to the American League when healthy. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's a legitimate question. I happen to believe he'll be able to do it, judging by watching him pitch in the other league, even though it is the other league. He's a different bird. He's a whole different guy. He's an animal, so to speak.
That's skied in the air. Shallow right field. Thomas coming out. Polanco going back. Polanco with a nice play. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Justin Verlander. We're headed to the bottom of the 8th. Tigers got to get the offense going.
a line drive to left field in the Tigers bullpen, and then a couple of hitters later, actually the next hitter, Iwamura, first pitch swinging, and he caught himself a fastball and hit it out.
So Clete Thomas leads it off for the Tigers. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Neiman's still out there, and a breaking ball misses low.
Neiman has done a very nice job of just keeping the Tigers hitters off balance. He has not been overpowering at all. He has not thrown many fastballs by them, but he has kept the ball off the sweet part of the bat, I guess I would say.
Looks like Maglio Ordonez has picked up a bat. He'll move to the on-deck circle with Laird due up next. Now the 1-1. 1-2. .95 total pitches for Neiman. No walks. Brett Belfour and Brian shouts warming up, and that's a fair ball down the line. Thomas has his 3rd hit. He's headed to second base, and he is in with a stand-up double. And the Tigers are in business here in the 8th. And Joe Madden making a slow walk out to the mound.
Clete Thomas took a pretty nice breaking ball at the bottom of the strike zone there. He was out in front of it. And when your body's out in front, if you keep your hands back, you still have a chance. And once Clete rounded first, they quickly picked up his third base coach. And Gene Lamont had both hands up and making sure that they didn't force the issue with Thomas trying to stretch that into a triple.
Neiman is out. They're going to go to the bullpen. It's a Wallside Windows pitching change.
As well yesterday afternoon. He's got some decent numbers. The earned run average is above 4, which is never really a good thing. But the average of strikeouts per inning in the league is hitting just 244, against Balfour. He's even better than that against right-handed batters.
So Ordonez has just been announced as the pinch hitter. He will bat for Gerald Laird. 2 for 5 career against Balfour with a strikeout. The Tigers have 5 hits now, and they'll bring the tying run to the plate. Don't forget, we're right back with you tomorrow for another matinee where the Tigers and Rays play the final game of this 4-game set. Coverage begins just prior to the first pitch at 1 p.m. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire tomorrow afternoon on Fox Sports Detroit and Fox Sports Detroit HD, Shields, and Washburn in that one.
Should be another good one.
First 3 have been just that. And Washburn and Shields get together tomorrow. So here is Ordonez.
And usually as a pinch hitter, that first pitch is a good one to hit.
Ball 1 to Maglio. 2 for 7 with an RBI in the series. And it's drilled to right field. Zobrist is there. The runner will tag, and here comes Thomas to third. He is in there. The runner moves up, one gone. Going to bring up Santiago. Ten out of 16 with a runner on third and less than 2 outs. 63% for Santiago. And Ramon in this one is 0 for 2. Rays will give up the run for an out here. The infield back, and it's fouled back out of play. They're playing with a 2-run lead in the 8th. Tigers just have not had many scoring chances. They had the 2-out double by Huff in the 7th. Now the leadoff double by Thomas here in the 8th. There's a strike called. 0-2 on Santiago. Brad Balfour is a former Minnesota Twin. He was a native of Australia. Pitched with Minnesota from 01 through 05. Some of the more notables from Australia. Balfour is on that list. Swing and a tip into the glove at 96 miles an hour, and down goes Santiago.
He came right after Santiago with all hard stuff. And now with Granderson coming up in 2 outs, and Jim Hickey, pitching coach, and they're going to make sure that they know exactly how they want to pitch to Granderson here. And he also has all the infielders huddled around as well, so they know exactly where to play.
Well, Neiman handing this one off to the bullpen after a masterful job in this game. Trying to win his 13th. Joe Madden trying to keep his Rays in the playoff race for the wild card. So here's Granderson. Curtis had an RBI hit back in the 3rd. Ball 1.
Well, if you're Balfour in this situation, you'd be smart to stay away from Granderson. Granderson has 25 home runs this year. The majority of his home runs have been to right field. Granderson has not displayed the kind of power to drive the ball the other way out of the yard.
He is staying away. 2-1. You got Polanco on deck. Now 3 balls, 1 strike. Guess it's pretty clear what the conversation was about on the mound, wasn't it?
Yeah, don't give him anything too good to hit. They're asking for trouble, though, if they walk Granderson.
And they have done just that.
Because Polanco doesn't strike out all that often, and which means he's got a pretty legitimate shot of driving in a big run for the Tigers with 2 outs.
Balfour's first walk in his last 15 appearances.
If they were not going to let Granderson hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Placido will stand up there with the tying runs on the bases and 2 outs here in the 8th. Ray's bench trying to direct some traffic in the outfield.
Trying to get Zobrist to come in from right field, where Polanco gets a lot of his base hits the opposite way. They're still trying to bring him in some more.
Ball 1 up high.
Outfield and center field very shallow. And with Upton here, then you've got Zobrist over here up playing awfully shallow as well.
Two and 0. It's getting more intriguing by the pitch here in this inning. Placido with a couple of ground balls and a pop-up. Tigers have only 5 hits today, but a golden opportunity here with 2 outs. Tying runs are on. Balfour replacing Neiman here in the 8th. And a high fly ball, left field. Crawford going back. He's going to go to the warning track, to the wall, leaps. It's out of here.
I told you they'd be asking for trouble.
Polanco lofts one out to left field. His 8th home run of the season. And the Tigers have taken the lead. A 3-run homer from the number 2 hitter, Placido Polanco. First lead of the day for Detroit, and Verlander is loving it.
That's why Jim Leland sent Verlander back out for the 8th, for his offense to show up and give him a chance to get a win in this game. And he is in line to win now. How about Polanco? Oh, Neiman.
Meanwhile, Neiman can do nothing but watch the lead disappear and a possible victory go with it.
They thought that Polanco was going to be taking that 2-0 fastball right down the middle. And Polanco, being a smart player, knew he was going to get that fastball, looked to pull it and hit it out, and did as much.
Here's the 0-2 to Guillen. Popped up. Third base side for Longoria. And that's all for the Tigers. But boy, what an inning. They scored 3 in the bottom of the 8th. Polanco with a 3-run shot, his 8th of the year. And just like that, the Tigers lead. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered.
Felt like I was 21 back at the club. That music.
I saw you bebopping around there. Well, 125 pitches for Justin Verlander.
He's not going to start this inning, is he?
I don't think so. I think perhaps Leland's buying some time for Rodney.
Yeah, Rodney was not ready. He had just gotten up.
125 pitches to start an inning.
Although he's got plenty in his tank to finish this thing if Leland wanted to go that route.
Well, again, 127 was his season high. And here comes Leland now. He's going to take him out of the game. So Jim will come out and get Verlander and get Rodney into this game. It was highly unlikely that Justin was going to go 125 pitches into this ball game. And Fernando Rodney should be sufficiently warmed up.
What a day for Verlander again. Staying in there long enough to give his team a chance to come back and get a win if Rodney does his thing. Great outing by Justin.
So the signal goes, and Verlander now will get a big-time standing O in this one, and he deserves it. So
Or thought he was taking the pitch all the way. Take a look at the strong hands here. Palm up, palm down. Great concentration to the baseball. And he tries to hit it out of here, and he does as much. Usually Polanco 2-0 is taking a pitch. Not there. Looks even better in Exmo.
and the bench with their reaction, knowing that they have the lead now. And look at Verlander, knowing he has a chance to win this game. But 3 more outs to get, and Fernando Rodney is on now to try and save this one. He will face Evan Longoria to lead it off in the top of the 9th. And the first pitch is in there, a fastball strike from Rodney.
Mid-90s, right out of the chute for Fernando. Fernando, 28 of 29 in these chances this year. Almost a strikeout per inning. 54 strikeouts in just over 56 innings pitched.
Longoria has a 2-run homer in this game. Zahn is on deck, and then it would be Iwamura. Ball outside, 2-1.
If you do decide to throw that changeup to Longoria, and even though it's a great pitch for Fernando, you have to make sure you get it down. Longoria can take that changeup away from him and hit it out to left. So you don't want to make a mistake with it.
Alex Avila comes into the game to catch after they pinch hit for Gerald Laird. There's a high fly ball, shallow right field. Clee Thomas coming in, and there is out number 1. 2 more to go to get Verlander his 15th win. Got a new left fielder as well. Ryan Rayburn is in this game now to play left. Here's Greg Zahn. If Verlander ends up winning this game, he would tie CC Sabathia for the most wins in the American League with 15. There's a strike, 1-1.
The thing that makes the changeup such a great pitch for Fernando is he will throw that changeup out of the same arm slot with the same arm speed that produces a 98-mile-per-hour fastball. He is tough to hit when efficient throwing the ball over the plate. One pitch at 82, next one at 97.
Zahn is hitless today, 0 for 3. Here's Rodney's 2-1. Change up there, 2-2.
The guy pitching for the Tampa Bay Rays tomorrow, Shields, has a terrific changeup himself. Yeah, but there's only a few that are right-handed that have this good a changeup. Verlander has a great changeup. Trevor Hoffman, of course. Rodney, James Shields, a few more.
They'll get to the backstop.
That is an uncatchable pitch. If you're looking for a 98-mile-per-hour fastball outside and the pitcher happens to yank one across his body inside, if you're Avila, you got no shot whatsoever. Umpire's lucky too.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking the same thing. If he doesn't deflect that ball, it's headed to Mike Everett. 3-2. Ground ball left side, diving try-inch, can't get it, base hit.
Good at bat by Zahn. Really good at bat.
Tying run is on. They'll get a pinch runner down there at first base. Gabe Kapler is going to pinch run.
I can have your attention, please. Now, pinch running for Tampa Bay, number 27, Gabe.
So Zahn gets his first hit of the day, and it comes in a spot in which they needed it the most. The tying run is on. Kapler is the pinch runner. Here's Iwamura. Ball one. 7 hits for the Rays. The Tigers have 6 hits. But the big 3-run homer by Polanco in the bottom of the 8th inning has given the Tigers a 4-3 lead. Bouncing ball to short. This might be 2. There's 1. Here's the relay. Not in time. Iwamura beat it out.
That's good hustle by Kapler. And a real aggressive base running by the pinch runner. Lots of guts here by Polanco to stay in here and try to turn this bad boy over, knowing he's going to get his clock cleaned by Kapler.
So the crowd to its feet now with the Tigers leading by a run. 2 outs and a man at first base for B.J. Upton. Upton has a couple of hits. Those at-bats were against Verlander.
Well, just keep him in the ballpark.
Ground ball to third, leaping play by Inge. That's a fair ball, and that is a Tigers victory. Upton grounds out to end the ball game, and the Tigers with a comeback win get Verlander his 15th victory of the season as Rodney gets the save.
Very, very impressive game today by the Tigers. Very impressive. Inge almost jumped too soon for this baseball. He was on his way down when he caught it, but that helped him set his feet up perfectly to fire a strike across the diamond to Cabrera, who had to leave the bag momentarily with Upton running down the line, who has a lot of speed.
Look at the hops.
And Verlander has number 15 in the books. That'll tie him with CC Sabathia for the American League lead. With a lot of help here today. The home run by Polanco, the save by Rodney, and right now